It started a week ago. I walked out to greet my mailman as I usually do. I know in most places that might be frowned upon, but around here we like to go out and talk with our delivery folks. We met at the mailbox and we talked for a moment. It was all pretty routine. Pete was his normal jolly self, and I was my normal morning tired. He mentioned that the mail company he worked for was being bought up by a larger one, and the new buyer was looking to rebrand. If it's one thing I know as a working man, is that mergers and acquisitions are fickle. You are either there afterwards, or you're gone. But I digress. I wished him luck, then we shook hands and parted ways. It was over the next few days that things started to rise to the surface. The next morning I caught my mailman coming up the road, so again I walked out to greet him. When he stepped out of the van, he seemed more gray than usual. I also realized that his van was sporting a new name. Alabaster Postal and Shipping Services. His company was originally Quickfoot Shipping. I assumed the acquisition and rebrand must have happened overnight. I watched as he staggered around the van and made his way to the mailbox. He never turned to look at me, and when I reached out for a handshake, he ignored it. "Pete, is everything okay?" I asked him. He stopped what he was doing and quickly turned towards me. "Oh, sorry, James," he said in a tired voice. "Sorry, it's been a long morning. I have a lot of stops to do." He chuckled when he said this to me, but to me it sounded forced. "How'd the acquisition go?" I asked him, now just a little concerned. It wasn't normal to not see Pete in a jolly mood. "Oh, it's going," he managed a half smile. "You know how it goes. Things are given, other things are taken away," he chuckled. I watched his shaky hands fumble getting the mail inside the box. He finished his business, then without saying a word, he got back in his van and made for his next stop. I just stood there and watched him drive towards the next house. I was a bit confused and obviously concerned, but I mostly shrugged it off as an off day. I grabbed my mail, marched back inside my house, and went on with my day. The following afternoon, however, things reached a peak. It was the aforementioned routine. I walked out to see Pete, but when I got there and saw him pull up, I froze. The van stopped at the box, but the person that stepped out wasn't Pete. Or at least it wasn't as I knew him. He was pale as a sheet, his movements were odd, but each step seemed perfect. He never looked at anything, including me. He just stared straight ahead. I watched him place my mail in the box, then leave and make for the next one. It was at this point I decided to message my neighbor. We had a small back and forth, and even she agreed that something was wrong. Regardless, I went out and grabbed my mail. Only this time, it wasn't just business letters and ads. It was a package. Strange, I thought. I don't remember ordering anything. I turned towards my neighbor, and she pulled the exact same package from her mailbox. Courtesy of Alabaster Postal and Shipping. We are merging. Please join us. Okay, so I was more than a little weirded out by the whole situation. That's an understatement. I suspected perhaps it was a prank, but something was nagging at the back of my head. I watched as my neighbor, Anna, messed around with the package she received. She tore off a piece of wrapper, and this white powder shot out of the package. "Anna!" I ran over to help her, but she raised her hand to stop me. She then turned and ran back inside the house. She was coughing all the way. I dropped my package on the ground, and by that point I dropped the rest of my mail as well. I then ran back inside and made a call to the police. I informed them that my neighbor had received a suspicious package and that it was filled with some white powder substance. They responded and said they would send an officer over immediately. I hung up the phone and then ran over to a window. From there I could see into my neighbor's house. I spotted Anna in her kitchen, coughing her lungs out. I waved at her, trying to let her know that help was on the way. I wanted to come over and assist her, but she just threw up her hand. She wasn't going to let me over. I waited by the phone for the police. I waited and waited. It was late evening by this point, and nobody ever came by. I ran over by the window to check on Anna, but I didn't see her anywhere in her house. I messaged her, called her, and nothing. Damn it, I stammered. I didn't have a choice anymore. Anna wasn't answering her phone, and I'd not seen a single officer. I ran outside and over to Anna's house. I pounded on the door for 5 minutes. No answer, not a single one. I messaged and called her one more time. Nothing. I then decided to walk around the house. I was trying to see if I could find her by looking in one of the windows. It was dark inside the house, so trying to spot her that way wasn't helping much. It's when I came around the back and found a huge hole in the wall. What the hell? I was staring at a hole in the back of Anna's house. Someone or something busted out. By this point, I just said fuck it and ran back to my house. I rushed through my front door and bolted up the stairs to my bedroom. I grabbed my gun from the closet and ran around the house, locking every door. I then went and waited at the top of my stairs, just across from my bedroom. I sat there and waited. There was something obviously wrong. Perhaps I was being paranoid at the time, but trust me, I wasn't. It was morning that everything came full circle. I woke up, groggy, with the sun beaming through the windows. I slowly got up and made my way down the stairs. It was when I was halfway down the stairs I heard a knock at the door. Anna? I froze. I didn't make a sound. Then there was another knock, much louder this time. "Good afternoon, sir. You've got mail," the voice said. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared. There was something about the voice that seemed very off. There was another knock. It was much louder this time. "Good afternoon, sir. You've got mail." I didn't move. I just held my gun tight and waited for the person to go away. Then there was another knock. This time the damn door shook. I thought it was going to come off its damn hinges. "Good afternoon, sir. You've got mail." By this point, I was frozen on the stairs. Suddenly, the door started shaking. Whoever was on the other side was banging on the door. For the briefest of moments, I actually thought the cops had finally arrived. I ran up the stairs and practically fell into my room. I got up and slammed my door behind me and locked it. That was when I heard my front door come down. I was panicking by this point. I decided to say screw it and dive out my bedroom window. Save for the bumps and bruises on the fall, I got up and I just ran. And ran and ran. I was able to make it to a hotel and make a call to a friend. I'm currently waiting in my room for them. Funny though, I did some research on that company that bought out Pete's employer. There is no Alabaster postal and shipping services. Now, I still need to call my friend and see how far out he is, but the receptionist asked that I swing by the main desk. Apparently, there's a package for me. Well then, that was fun. Honestly, I feel like this one harkens back more to the original, to the first one, the first episode in Fractured Stories, the Webbed Forest. But yeah, shadowy, evil, mysterious shipping companies. Now, albeit, well, not shadowy, evil, and secret or whatever, I do know what it feels like to work for a shipping company and be worked to the bone, and be nothing but alabaster white and worn afterwards, if you will. As pale as a sheet. This is dunzo. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found some spoops in it. And happy Spooptober to you. It is currently Tuesday. We have some change. A few days before Halloween. But I'm sorry, I like to say but a lot. But anyways, that too. I hope hope you enjoyed. Hope you liked it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will be hanging out there and chillaxing, seeing all the beautiful and wonderful and critically intelligent comments just coming in. But yeah, you heard everything. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed. This was your good friend, the Musical Pumpkin, watching over your pumpkin patch. I love you. Stay awesome. See you next week. Happy Halloween.